Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 is a sequel to the 2023 last year film Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and it's once again directed by Rhys Frake-Waterfield. It follows Pooh as he embarks on a murderous rampage for Christopher Robin's childhood town to seek revenge on him for revealing his existence to the world. Now, if you've seen my review or rant I did on the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey film, if you haven't, well, here's the last bit of the clip that I said. Here's the clip for it. Pile of shit, you're no good, horribly written, horribly acted, somehow this movie made, motherfucker! Says it all. It says it all what I said. So there's a sequel, and of course, this is the second installment in this twisted childhood universe. The TCU. Great! Another shared universe that's coming. We'll talk about that later on, because I've got something to say about that. So, what's my thoughts on this film? Well, it's no joke. It's no obvious thing where you see the thumbnail. This film is not good. It's pretty terrible. It is arguably, if not bad, it's a bad film. But, however, I have to be honest, this is a slight improvement on the first film. It's definitely a better film than the first movie. I will give some credit. I will say, for the most part, the acting is a lot better this time round. Scott Chambers as Christopher Robin is the highlight. He's probably the best actor in this movie. I think he definitely give Christopher Robin a lot more to do this time round. He definitely has more of a character, which I will mention the negatives about that because there's some things in there that doesn't really make sense, the overall story. But I will say he's got a lot more to do. And thankfully, he didn't do this in the first film, which, you know the line. Here's the clip.
No, not you. Why are you doing this, Pooh? We used to be friends. Why are you doing this, please?
Thankfully, it's not in this movie. Thank the Lord it's not in this film. I applaud that. Thankfully, give Christopher Robin, instead of being him, being a damsel of distress, is that the right word to use. As far as the rest of the acting, all the rest of the actors did their best. The characters, though, not so much. They're just basically there. As far as Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Tigger, they're actually pretty decent this time. They look more like animals. It's not dudes in rubber masks or Halloween masks or animal masks. They actually look like prosthetic makeup they wear, which I do applaud them. I do applaud the makeup design on Pooh, Piglet, and Owl, and Tigger. And I will say, cinematography wise, looks good on them, especially the lighting of the shadows and even the darkness in the woods. I really feel that atmosphere, and I like the tone they're going for. And I do really applaud the tone for this film. The tone is very campy. It has that dark, humorous tone to it, which I do like, and they do throw some little nods at the Winnie the Pooh books, which I will admit, I did get a kick out of that. There were moments I was like, oh, that was kind of cool, or oh, I see what you did there. That was actually pretty decent. I quite give them that. And I think Rhys Frake-Waterfield does take some criticism by heart from the first one, what works and what doesn't, or what needs to improve on. So thankfully, he has listened to this criticism, and I do applaud him for doing that, and he definitely stepped up his game here. But however, that means it's a good movie. This is still a bad film, because the story as a whole, it's really bad. It was just really not a great storyline here, because you got Pooh and a gang are on a rampage to find Christopher Robin, take revenge on him and kill everyone that he loves. Then you got a very boring exposition story of Christopher's childhood trauma, especially after the events from the first film. And you do get this backstory of him with how he's lost his brother Billy Robin. I get what they're trying to go for, but the way they execute it and the way they explain things doesn't make sense at all. As far as the kills, they're good. I will say there are some good kills, but here it's just the lighting of it is just not good at all. It's very pitch black at certain areas and scenes. It's just so many light shots. It just doesn't look like they're going to show us the actual kill, which is lacking in the first film, because they don't really show it. They don't really embrace it. It's just there. When you see it, it cuts away. It doesn't show you like physically or all that. I don't know if Rhys Frake-Waterfield is afraid to show that, but they could have just shown it, because this is an 18 movie, or rated R, even in America. This is supposed to be rated R type of movie. You're supposed to see the blood and gore. It was just lacking. It was just a lazy attempt to do that with the kills. And of course we get the whole CGI blood, really noticeable at times, and even the CGI with Al when he's flying, you can tell that's green screen or digital. It looks absolutely fake, and even on Tigger's tail looks really off. There were parts maybe the background shots which I will admit does look legitimately decent, but when you do the back shot and right in front of him, right behind his back, it's noticeable. The CGI looks pretty terrible. You think the budget, you're thinking they're going to make better CGI. Guess what? They didn't. As far as the characters like Pooh and Piglet and Al and Tigger, I'll say the two negatives about that is Piglet was underused in this film. He was barely in the movie that much. If you're expecting him to do more like they did in the first film, spoiler alert, he didn't. And as for Tigger, he's barely in the movie, and he was on screen. He was actually quite decent. And the actor who played him, Louis Santer, the actor who plays Tigger, he was good. I really liked him. He's probably the best part. And Tigger's got the best kills in the movie. He's barely in the movie. He's only in it for like 2-3 minutes of screen time, and that was it. He was underused. Again, he could have been more in the movie because he's the highlight. People were excited to see that, and I was kind of like, okay, let's see what Tigger does. Stuff in there was cool, but he was underused. Completely wasted of that guy's talent. And of course, we do have the biggest complaint I have the biggest one is it contradicts what the first one did. If you remember the first film, the narrator says they return to their animalistic roots, swearing they'll never talk again. Look, I know the first movie at the end where Pooh says, "You left," with that line. But when it comes to the second movie, did that not contradict what the character says, or maybe reveal their systems they talk? I know that's just a nitpick, but I just don't know why. It just doesn't work for me. Here's a little bit of spoiler in the film. So, spoiler, skip to this timeline if you want to know my rating of this movie. So, by the end of the film, after the mid-credits scene, we do get some glimpses of the future of this twisted childhood universe that they have planned with the pipeline with certain movies like Bambi the Reckoning, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, Pinocchio's Unstrung, and of course, the most biggest one, the Avengers type of movie, Poohniverse, Monsters Assemble. I dare you guys to say Poohniverse 5 times in the comments. I dare you. You will still laugh or get drunk when I say Poohniverse, Poohniverse, Poohniverse. Sound like Snyderverse to me. Just saying. But I don't know, this credits sound like it's just trying to tease people, say, oh, we're going to make another one, here's more movies, come and see our films, come and see our big shared universe we're going to make. Now look, I'm all for twisted childhood storylines and turn them into horror characters, which I'm all for it if it's done with execution, but I know they're known, Jagged Edge Productions is known for making bad movies and very low budget horror films and just not much effort to them. They're just basic with very poor writing and poor acting and bad CGI, you know, all those stuff. I don't want to trash on the studio. I know their job is not the easiest when it comes to making movies. I respect them for trying. I do respect them. Unfortunately, the film just felt like, yeah, it's like a giant trailer to set up a shared universe. And that's my big issue. It felt like they're just teases of what's to come. It's only the credit scene, but it kind of reminds me of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 in a certain way, with the credits, with showing the Sinister Six. It's kind of like that. And I felt like, okay, we know you're making a shared universe. We know. We get it. I do respect Rhys Frake-Waterfield for trying to make the best movie he can. While definitely a slight improvement over the first film, but it still has to be desired with some really questionable choices, and some of the CGI is not great and they could have worked a little bit more on that. I do think it's better than the first film, but that's not saying much. Go to bed early, kids. This is not the story you are worth telling. I'm going to give Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 a D+. Guys, comment down below. Tell me what you think of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. Do you love it? Do you like it? Or do you think it's alright? Or do you hate it? Whatever the case is, comment down below and tell me what you think. Of course, guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit that icon bell for more future videos like this. Until next time, see ya!